Just now we mentioned that the Israelites in Egypt multiplied and increased, and they suffered persecution in Egypt. This is content from the book of Exodus. It also clearly tells us that the Israelites in spiritual Egypt would surely multiply and increase. Just as initially only 70 Israelites entered Egypt, just as we are now, there are only a few dozen brothers and sisters in this spiritual Egypt. In that case, soon our brothers and sisters will also multiply and increase. And just as the people in Egypt suffered persecution, so too will we suffer persecution in the future. China's population is now about 1.3 billion, possibly around 1 billion people. But soon, our population will surpass that of the Egyptians in China. Spiritual Egypt more. Although they number over 1 billion, we, through the gospel, will gain many people through the gospel, consistently greater than that of the Egyptians, even more than the Chinese people. At that time, many Chinese people will become our brothers and sisters, so their population will actually decrease, while ours will keep increasing. And furthermore, the Father will cause people from all nations and tribes. They all have many who have become spiritual Israelites. In this way, the spiritual Israelites increased. Yet, just as greater population led to greater persecution back then, this is what we see. But the more persecution there is, the more the population grows. Is it about the gospel of the future? The broader the gospel spreads, the greater the persecution becomes. And the greater the persecution, the more widely the gospel spreads. In this ever-expanding process, those who believe in the Lord, many more people believed in Brother Shinshi. At that time, Pharaoh issued an evil decree. He saw that the Israelites kept multiplying, and so he thought in his heart. Pharaoh commanded, calling 2 midwives, instruct these 2 midwives to deliver the Hebrew women. If they saw a newborn child, a male infant, they should kill him, but if it was a female infant, they should let her live. That was his command. However, because the midwives feared God, they revered God, not acting according to the king's command. They actually spared the lives of the male infants. Then Pharaoh, king of Egypt, summoned the midwives and asked them, "Why have you disobeyed my command and allowed the males to live?" The midwife replied, "Because Hebrew women differ from Egyptian women. Hebrew women are naturally robust. Before the midwife arrives, they have already given birth. That is, before the midwife gets there, the baby has already been born." Of course, the 2 midwives were deceiving King Pharaoh, and thus the Israelites continued to multiply and became exceedingly strong because the midwives feared God. God blessed them, enabled them to establish their family lineage and children. This shows how the righteous are rewarded by God. Indeed, God is just. The midwives show kindness to God's people, were blessed by God. Later, Pharaoh became furious and issued a decree, saying, "Every male infant born to the Hebrews must be thrown into the Nile River. But every female infant you shall let live." Pharaoh issued a command to his people. So many newborn male infants were thrown into the Nile River. This seems to be telling us, we are the children who have been born again. Many who have been reborn are strangled by those belonging to Satan. In other words, we have been reborn through faith in the gospel. In our dreams, we have already seen that we have a newborn baby. But often, it is those associated with Pharaoh who belong to Satan. What about those who belong to the spiritual Egypt of Satan, whose slaughter is like throwing a newborn baby into the Nile? So how do they slaughter our newborn babies? They kill them in this way, by persecuting our brothers and sisters. Don't believe, Brother Zhu. Unbelief, O human faith, causing people to lose faith. When people believe, they receive new life. Later, due to disbelief, due to persecution, unbelief is like seeds sown on shallow, rocky ground. When the sun rises to beat them, and the hot wind blows, they wither. That is when facing setbacks. The new life of those who have been reborn is slaughtered. Force them to abandon their faith. If you don't believe, the reborn life will be lost. For this reason, everything is in accordance with God's good purpose. Glory be to the Father and the Lord. Amen.